I may have made this take like 6 months ago, but I feel like it's an important conversation to have again. If you're with an avoidant partner, I'm not telling you to break up with them. But what I am telling you to do, hold my hand. Hold my hand as I say this, all right? Hold my hand. The avoidant is not running away from you. The avoidant is running away from themselves. And the sooner you start to realize that, then I hope it puts you in a position to not try to go out of your way to heal or to fix them, but to appreciate them for who they are on their journey. Because you got to remember, you're never going to get a consistent identity out of somebody who is constantly or consistently running away from themselves. Because the only consistency in their life is abandoning themselves. Now, I know a lot of you guys may be sitting here thinking, maybe not right now, but at some point in this discussion, you're going to think, how come there's so many people that go back into relationships with people who don't like them, or like people who treat them wrong? For an avoidant, mind you, this isn't a static term. This is just a state of mental being while you're in these types of circumstances. For the avoidant partner, remember this. They only like you as somebody who genuinely likes them when you are telling them what they want to hear that is not aligned with their actual reality, or you are helping them escape themselves. But the second you start to really hold on to their love and try to reciprocate that back into them, you are going to realize, hopefully, you can't do that. Because they may be filling you up with love, but where is that love coming from if they don't even take the love that they have to fill their own cup with? And maybe they're not filling up their own cup because they're afraid of how overwhelmed they will be from addressing their pain. Maybe they're ashamed of addressing their truth. Maybe they've already experienced people invalidating or rejecting their trauma, or helping with it. So they think, you know what? Let me just never put myself in a position to have to feel those feelings again, even if it means I will never address the one thing that is holding me back in this life and stopping me from having effective, healthy, deep, intentional relationships. One thing I'm starting to realize, especially with and knowing a handful of people too that were avoidant, and even trying to pursue people at points in my life that were avoidant, not realizing it was related to childhood trauma and like a horrible relationship I had with my mom. But I assume that avoidant people love those relationships that are maybe not always abusive, but avoidant to them. Because think about this. One, if the avoidant is chasing you, they're simultaneously running away from themselves. And that's the goal at the end of the day. It's not necessarily to find a perfect partner. It's to just escape the self. So that partner that they're chasing, that is leaving them on read, not responding to text messages, hanging out with other people and not giving real answers, that's perfect. It's a distraction. Being in that relationship is a distraction from the self, because you'd rather be the savior of another person trying to save them from their issues that you don't have to take responsibility for, rather than address your circumstances, because you think that there's going to be nobody there to save you once you do face those. So you'd rather be running away from whatever you have to address, even if it tears everything apart from you, than address what you have to address, because you feel like you're going to lose everything that you think you are because of it. And you'd rather deal with the pain, even if it's just the little pricks and cuts of this abusive, traumatic relationship, than you would really addressing the traumatic relationship that you have with yourself and your own reality. So when I got to this point, I realized, like, I'm a deep lover myself, I believe. But I've realized that the best thing that you can do for yourself when you encounter these experiences is literally let the person go. Like, you are not going to chase somebody who's running away from themselves into any of the answers you're looking for. Stop. You are being used to help somebody escape themselves. And if they can stop escaping themselves through you, they are going to escape you. Because once they stop running, they have to address what they're running from. And even more interesting, how would you even know if this is the person that you claim to believe in or you claim to love if they are putting on a mask, or they aren't being themselves, or they aren't even able to like themselves? How do you know if you even like them if they don't even know themselves? It's interesting. And that put me in a position, at least on my healing journey, to recognize, like, you know what? It's not that I keep on attracting avoidant partners or wanting to be in a relationship with avoidant partners. Try to get vulnerable here. I apologize. But what I start to realize is that I had 2 narcissistic parents. You'll hear about that if you haven't already in the near future. But my mom, I think she had a fear of me leaving, like growing up to a point where I would just leave and like be able to take care of myself, because so much of her self-worth and value came from being the savior or being the person that can decide, oh, Disney, you can or cannot. Disney, no. Disney, yes. Disney, like just constantly just villainizing me and then just putting me in this hyper claustrophobic box to be nothing but like a pet doll for her. But because me, in my heart of hearts, you know, a child being born into the world wanting love from their parent, I'm not sure what animal even is born into the world not desiring the love and respect of their parents. But she knew I wanted that, and I would be willing to do anything, literally sacrifice anything in my life to have the love and acceptance and appreciation of my mom. Especially as a neurodivergent person in a world where people don't fucking like me for like no reason. There are definitely people who have reasons to not like me, but there's a handful of things that like I don't even know that I'm doing, and people are just like, so it's like, yeah, I feel like I need that love from my parents a little extra too. So it's difficult that you went the complete opposite route. But what I'm trying to say here is that my mom put me on such a hamster wheel, chasing validation that I was never going to receive. So I just assumed that's what love was. And even worse than that, she's like, oh, well, like anytime she'd get mad and then we'd get into like an argument, if you even want to call it that, she's like, oh, I'm sorry that I screamed at you and called you a bunch of names and did all this stuff that's just so horrible and makes you want to delete yourself. Can you forgive me? And then I'd be like, no, like, what the fuck? Who does that? And she's like, and you know when the narcissist gets like those black eyes when they start to get mad and their whole entire fucking eye just turns black as shit? And of course, like, what do you think I'm going to do? Face that as a child? I'm like, you know what? You can have it. You won. And it put me in a spot to not only chase after avoidant partners, not like I was chasing after people that don't want me, literally just chasing after avoidant partners that created these hoops and loops and random circumstances or like illusions to make me feel like I was never doing enough to access their love while they were able to take advantage of my own naivete and basically like mold me into whatever they wanted me to be for them to be okay, but beyond that, for them to be able to accept me. Because once they realized that it was my deep need and desire to have love and connection in my life, then it almost every time gets exploited. And the second I finally got out of my home, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act like it's been all sunshine and rainbows. It's been probably one of the hardest things I ever had to do. I realized that I was never going to receive that validation from my mom, and I was going to keep on sabotaging my life, whether it's relationships, it's job opportunities, it's being able to hang out with friends, bro, and just go and live on the town. I'm sabotaging all of that for somebody who hates their circumstances, probably hates themselves too, and wants me to bear the responsibility of their self-hatred. And in my heart of hearts, I understand where I might be traumatized and I might not be able to be a great partner in a relationship. But one thing that I'm not going to fucking do is place the responsibility that I need to take for my circumstances in my life onto other people, knowing that there's no way in fucking hell they can meet those expectations. Because those expectations align with my goals and who I want to be and what I want to do, not with them. And then I realized, like, dude, when I left, I was like, why did I even care so much about the shit that my mom would tell me or like what she was telling me to do? Because it didn't mean fucking anything anyway, bro. And I realized how much of my life was at the mercy of listening to somebody like that rather than just being able to love myself and just throw one of these, bro, and move on with my shit.